Starfleet Underground. Every week, we'll take a look at the latest Star Trek news and then check out a current or classic episode of Star Trek.
Can Hologram Janeway get all of the kids to work together to solve the problem? Watch out for that Tachyon Storm. Proto-Drive ships don't seem to do too well with those. And there's only so much time to deal with a warp core breach. Also, a lot of new Star Trek is on the way. Did you see that Picard trailer?
No, I'm not going to get you to go into some sort of warp so you can learn more. You've already chief programmed with all the knowledge you need. You don't need to go through a time warp to learn more. No, I don't care. But thanks for the coffee anyway, Doc. Okay. Yes, I see the light is on. Yes. Okay. No, that didn't change my mind because you told me the light was on. Okay. Good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Starfleet Underground. I hope you're excited about the last show as much as we are to talk about it. It was chock full of all kinds of stuff to explain and talk about. So we're really looking forward to it. We have a full crew complement today. Nobody's on away missions. Everybody's nice and safe, and everybody's fully clothed, I hope. My name is darn. Nathan Adams.
Whoops.
Crap.
I did it again. I played with your heart.
I am not saying anything.
So this crew is brought to you by the Naked Crew today.
And Britney is free.
Yes, free! She is. Leave Britney
free
alone.
To Britney.
Did you know the guy who screamed that, the Free Britney, he became a porn star?
No.
Whatever.
Yep.
Is that his catchphrase? When somebody touches him in his crotch? Leave my Britney alone. Oh, wait.
If he always cries when he comes, right?
Yeah,
right.
Oh,
if you're a kid, you can't listen to this, and you just had some naughty talk for free. So get the fuck out of our podcast.
No kids.
And come back when you're over 18, because
actually,
this is not for you.
Now he's actually, I may be wrong in this, but I think I read that he is transitioning as well.
Wow, he's doing the full gambit.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Let me continue on. We are being brought to you by Section 31. They haven't given us a new ship because every time I asked them for a new one, they said, you just got that one. Shut up. So that's a no. And we're brought to you by our wonderful people at Patreon. Thank you so much for continuing to dedicate a little bit of resources to the show. It helps offset all of the expenses that we pay to put this on.
And it saves the Tribbles.
It does save the Tribbles. And you listen to this for free, but it's not free to put this on. So there's that. But I do appreciate all the people that have and all the people that do listen. So thank you. I have with me today our wonderful, intelligent, inventive science officer.
Hi, I'm Heather Ferris. I'm the science officer. I'm also the one that brewed the captain's coffee this morning. And Captain, I have to tell you, I put some time crystals in there so that way we wouldn't have any problems with any time anomalies.
Wait, the Dot told me that the Dot lied.
I gave it to the Dot, so the Dot said that he made it because he's the one that ran it down the hallway, so he considers that making it.
Making it. Dun, dun,
He's correcting me now. He said he gave me the coffee, which is true, but he never said he made it. I just assumed. I swear this Dot.
I made the coffee in a way that would save you from the time anomalies, and I wish I was able to give this to Janeway this episode, but unfortunately I was not able to give her my time crystal coffee.
Well, I really hope that it doesn't affect me like it used to, so that would be a good thing. So we're going to see about that. Okay. Thanks everybody for joining us here on Starfleet Underground. I have a full crew today. We have our wonderful, intelligent,
Sir, you're looping.
Science.
We just did that part.
We did?
Yeah.
Introduce number one, or the chief.
Yeah, my number one, and I don't say that every time I use the restroom, but he is my number one, and that's our wonderful computer guy.
You're going to get it. This is Patrick. I'm number one. I'm the computer guy, and I'm also the foreign species liaison, and I'm nowhere near him when he's doing a number one or a number two for that matter.
That's too much detail, sir.
I can always tell when you're doing a number 2 because you like to yell out Mickey Mouse. And every time we go by, we hear you in it, Mickey Mouse. So why? I have no idea.
What?
I thought he was teaching the Tribbles that.
I thought so too, but
It's really bad when he starts to just spell it out. M-I-C.
Really?
K-E-Y.
Why?
Why?
Why is it so hard to come out?
M-O-U-S-E.
Oh my God.
We have our wonderful computer guy, my number 1. And wait,
You did it again, sir.
I did.
You're time warping.
Damn it. Okay.
Let's do the time warp again.
It's just a step to the left and a step to the chief.
It's a jump to the left.
And a step to the
And a
right.
step to the right.
Yeah, thank
Put
you.
your hands on your hips.
Step to the
You bring your knees in tight.
And
It's the pelvic thrust.
Yeah.
That really drives you insane. Yay, yay,
Say
yay, yay.
yay.
Let's do
The
time warp again.
Everybody. Oh, okay.
Wow.
we
I'm impressed.
have Chief.
Well, considering Meatloaf just died, I mean that was an appropriate.
Oh.
Well, yeah. I mean, shout out to
You can't have
Meatloaf.
meatloaf anymore, not without the ketchup.
Yeah. No, nobody's perfect. You got to
Not
admit.
without the ketchup. And we have our chief.
That's a
not
rather
to be
tender
confused
subject. Anyone care for another slice?
And we have our chief,
boy.
not to be confused with queef. It sounds similar, but
Whoa.
not the same.
Spelled differently.
Yes.
And smells differently,
my.
hopefully.
Yeah. Oh my God. Hi, everybody. I'm Rocky. I'm the engineer of the show and the ship. And if it's falling apart, it's because it's my fault. I didn't fix it.
Or he just recently fixed it.
Or I just fixed it and it broke again.
And he hides all the couplers.
Or I just
Yes.
walk over and look at it and it starts working because that
Yes.
happens too.
Oh, the stuff that's scared of you. They saw that latest Patreon post of you in the engine room with your workout gear,
And your plumber's crack.
and they were quite frightened. So you're gonna have to check that picture out. It's up on our Patreon sooner or later.
Did I have a set of tools with me?
Is it still called a
You
plumber's crack
haven't-
when it's on an engineer?
No, you have
Ooh.
just one big tool. So
Just need the right tool.
yeah, I
Oh, I
guess so.
wasn't thinking that tool.
No, I think you're going to use it as a pry bar, but we'll see. So again, thanks for everybody. We're especially wild this morning. So, and for those of you that listen that actually know me personally, I'm sorry you're getting Nathan Unfiltered. So there's that.
Thank God it's an audio show only.
Hey, okay. Well, might as well do this.
Do what?
With the colors. Where are all these colors coming from?
Did you put mushrooms in there as well as the time crystals?
Yeah.
He's not just experiencing time phenomenon.
Well,
He's
you know,
experiencing other phenomenon.
Why
it makes it taste better.
Why are my toes waving at me?
Mushrooms never made anything taste better.
My toes
Let
are
me send
waving
you
at
over
me.
some coffee.
This is so cool. Oh, yeah. Corrections. Do we have any corrections from last week?
We should correct you. Let me take a look here. Just a second here. No, I see nothing come across on subspace. So it appears we had a flawless episode.
We are. Did we have any corrections last week?
Yes.
What was it?
The people didn't want some guy named Nathan on the show anymore.
Really? Oh, I'll have to give orders to get him removed from the crew.
This joke is getting repetitive.
You think?
What?
You think? You think?
God.
Okay.
Are we gonna have to sing the time warp again?
No. What that I remember. Thank you. News. Let's go for news. Heather, what do you got for me? Well, for us.
Captain. So if you guys didn't know this or haven't seen this already, go check this out. The newest trailer for Picard Season 2 has come out, and it showed, oh my God, what it showed. Like, it even affected number 1. Like, I walked by his room, and I saw him crying. Like, it even affected number 1.
Well, I wasn't crying. It just made my eyes leak.
That's the same thing.
Okay.
Okay. But go check it out. Guinan is in there. They show the Borg Queen for like a split second. They showed so much. You got to check it out.
It was cool. They did not let up on teasing now. The previous teaser trailers were literally teasing you. They weren't teasing this one. They were hitting you.
Smacking you upside the face.
All the right tricky places.
Mm-hmm.
It was so awesome.
It really was. It just, to see everybody on there, wow. They wanted to drum up excitement. They sure did.
I mean, we still have to wait a month and a half to get to it or whatever. It's like, wow, man.
Yep. Unfortunately,
it's your turn.
Okay,
so
well,
what do you got for us there, number one?
The 33rd annual GLAAD Media Awards are going to be held twice. April 2nd at the Beverly Hilton in Los Angeles, and then at the Hilton Midtown Friday, May 6th in New York.
It's not a time warp.
No, it's not.
Okay.
And GLAAD, the GLAAD Awards are recognize and honor media for their fair, accurate, and inclusive representation of lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer communities and the issues that affect their lives. Star Trek Discovery has been nominated for an outstanding drama series. It's the 4th year in a row, winning the first time last year. They're going up against 911 Lone Star, Batwoman, The Chi, Doom Patrol, Good Trouble, Grey's Anatomy, The L Word, Generation Q, Pose, and Supergirl. And Wilson Cruz responded on Twitter saying, "Thank you, GLAAD, for recognizing Discovery again for our fierce commitment to showing the true and beautiful diversity of our LGBTQ community. Star Trek and Discovery specifically is here to remind everyone that no matter who you are, you can help save the galaxy." So, yay!
Beautiful message right there.
That really is.
I think the Dots took it to heart, though.
What do they do?
Are they claiming their different pronouns now?
They're trying to save the galaxy, but they don't know what they're doing. So they're in the cargo bay just taking everything out of boxes and throwing everything everywhere. And it's so messy.
But they're helping.
They're trying.
Okay.
They think they are. We'll let them continue thinking they are.
Cool.
Okay, the doc brought me the other coffee, and I'm feeling better.
Oh,
we're going to use your coffee as a secret weapon, Heather.
One addendum to my news is that Star Trek Discovery has officially been picked up for season 5. Woo!
Outstanding.
Yay!
That is great news because everybody's been loving the show. Everybody that I've talked to about that. Wait, what just came through? Hold on, I got to from one of our favorite stars who just decided to leave us a message.
I am so drunk.
Well, thanks for letting us know.
This is hard-hitting news.
What is this? Drunk dial voicemail on Alt 98.7?
Why is he calling you Captain?
I have no idea. Maybe he wants to sample your coffee.
Of all the people he drunk dials.
Yeah, that's questionable. Chief, what do you got for us?
Okay, so if you don't have enough Star Trek to watch right now, just be patient. It's coming.
Boy, is it ever.
Because we're going to have new Star Trek coming at you. The rest, I mean, like so much more of the year. We're having episodes of one show, you know, still giving us new ones while another one is starting. This is insane. So Discovery's coming back for the second half of this season on February 10th. So mark your calendar and then get your calendar, you know, and your pencil ready because it's also happening. Star Trek Picard Season 2 premieres March 3rd. Strange New Worlds debuts May 5th. By the way,
de Star Trek.
Season 2, Cinco de Star Trek. That's fascinating. They also have the second season approved. They're already going into the second season. So
awesome.
That's amazing. They haven't dropped the first one yet. And they're like, oh yeah, we're going to keep making this. So that's fucking awesome. And then Star Trek Lower Decks Season 3 comes at you in the summertime. So there's a whole lot of Star Trek coming our way. And then, Star Trek Prodigy, more of that coming in 2022.
Yay.
So, I mean, this is a beautiful time to be a Trekkie because there's a lot of Star Trek coming at us. And they're still working on the 4K UHD remastered Star Trek The Motion Picture Director's Edition. I don't have a date for it, though, but it's still working on that, too.
We don't have to watch Enterprise.
At some point in July, we will probably be getting back to Enterprise.
Yeah, but it might be only 1 or 2 episodes. So that's okay.
You are going to watch all of Enterprise, Heather.
Eventually. I'm okay if it's stretched out by 10 years.
It is so funny because I've been watching it weekly with my parents and we kept on going. So we're like almost to the 3rd season now.
Oh my gosh.
It's a trip. There's some amazing T'Pol episodes.
Cool.
Yeah, they are. There are some really good ones.
They're
in there,
appalling.
I have to say.
I mean, oh no, God,
that was
that was really bad. But I mean, the one where she gets premature upon far was
Yeah.
What?
That was some hot stuff, baby.
I'm not even being sexually joking right there. That's an actual episode.
Yeah.
Was it like softcore Trek?
It was her in the decon chamber with Phlox.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
And watching Phlox try to run away.
Phlox was the one that was actually in danger.
Yes.
You in danger, girl.
That's
I
that's
wouldn't
just all I'm
mind
going to
seeing
say
that
because
one.
it was really good episode.
Can we just skip directly to that episode?
No, you got to watch this. There's some other good ones in there though. It's pretty cool.
They really start to hit their stride towards the end, which is unfortunate because that's when it was canned. They were really getting good on that. So, and they had to scrap a couple of the storylines because it coincided with 9/11.
Oh, jeez, I just hit the one where they had the Zindi attack.
Yeah.
Oh man, they did a number on Florida.
Yeah. So,
Well, someone should do a
definitely-
number on Florida.
Yeah, everyone says that about Florida, except the Floridians.
Well, that's because Rick DeSantis is in charge.
Pro tip: if you're ever in Florida and the car in front of you, all you see is knuckles, get around them really fast.
Or balls hanging from the tailgate.
All you see is knuckles on his steering wheel. Yeah.
I don't know. When I think Florida, all I think of is that zombie face-eating guy that was on bath salts.
Oh yeah, that happened in Florida.
Yeah, that happened
I
in
just
Florida.
want to go visit Disney World. That's all I'm good for.
That would be fun.
You cannot visit Disney World for
Captain.
only a week.
Well, maybe Cape
Captain.
Canaveral.
Yeah.
Maybe Cape Canaveral too.
Can we go take a vacation to Disney World?
We
all
can.
of
We
us?
have to take more than a week off because there's so much to see down there. So we have
I'm
to at least
okay
take
with
a couple
that.
of weeks. All right. I'll put in for it.
Yes.
They take us here for an away mission for a cultural examination. So we'll do that.
Of morons.
Yeah, I guess that. But if we have
Well,
any Florida
that would
fans, listen
include
to
us,
us.
right?
This excludes
No,
anybody
we're the
in
cultural
Florida.
examiners. We're not the morons.
I don't know. If I'm down at Disney World, I'm going to be running around like a moron, screaming my head off, going on all different rides.
A disclaimer: if you listen to Starfleet Underground and you're in Florida, that excludes you from our description of Floridians.
Well,
Nothing but love, baby. Nothing but love. And hey, they launch a lot of spacecraft from Florida, so I'm okay with Florida.
Yeah, but unfortunately, it's not taking the people that need to go from them. Okay, my turn. Wait, did you give the news, Rocky?
It's your turn, sir.
Thank you. I thought so. I wasn't 100% certain. Like the coffee antidote is working, but it's still sliding me off a little bit. Anybody who's heard of XO6 knows that they do truly amazing figures. They have some outstanding, gorgeous figures. Well, guess what? They're doing a 1/6 scale of Q in his judge's robes from Encounter at Farpoint and All Good Things. He looks amazing. I mean, it looked like somebody shrunk him down to a 12-inch figure. And it's beautiful, beautiful.
Hey, 12 inches is
recreation.
good.
Yeah, that's what she said.
Maybe one of the other Q got pissed off at him and shrunk him
It's-
into a statue.
It's really good. I mean, the judge's robe, the chain of office, it just looks amazing. And if you want to do what Patrick does to his figures, it's got 30 articulating points, allows you to pose him any way you like. You heard that, Patrick? Any way you like.
Ooh, this sounds like a new image sequence we can put on Twitter.
And he's got 6 interchangeable gloved hands, which you can do all kinds of snaps, waves, shaking your fist, all but the finger up. They don't have the finger up.
Anal
So,
penetrations.
and it's hand painted and comes with a display base and a La Cards informational card. So you can even use it as an autograph if you.
Did
come
you mean
across
L-Cars?
him. That's what I said.
Okay.
What did I say?
Lacars or
said
something,
L-Cars.
something like
Didn't
that.
I-
It was,
Isn't that a French automobile?
Oh,
Le car?
it was weird.
could be. Heather, is that a
Ooh
French
la la.
automobile?
I don't know. My mind went somewhere else. I'm not thinking about cars.
Did you sample your own coffee?
Ooh la la.
I thought so. Okay. Well, if you want it, the price is a measly $204.99, which is a real shit way to say $205, but that's the price. And you can get it directly from the XO6 website. It's going to be available through February 4th. Go ahead and do the pre-order. The pre-order is open right now with free shipping. That's that word that the Ferengis hate. Free all the way through February 4th. So there's that. we have Time Amok, which is going to be really, I'm excited about this. And for those of you that love Patrick's baritone voice, he's got the summary today.
I do?
Yeah, number one, take care of it.
I do?
Yep, your summary.
I do.
I do. Wrote the summary for the show.
So season 1, episode 8 aired on January 20th, 2022. It was Time Amok. Or Amok Time? No,
Time Amok.
Time Amok, girl. That was it. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Act 1. Which came first? The grain, the fox, or the chicken? Wait, what? Tachyon Storms and temporal phases. Janeway has the crew on the holodeck for a team building exercise after they've become somewhat distant from their botched first contact. Today's exercise is the chicken, the fox, and the grain. You can't take all 3 across the river at the same time, so how do you get them across? In frustration, Dahl ends the program and admits to Janeway that they aren't cadets. They stole the ship. Say what? Nande squeals to the diviner about where he can find the Protostar, but it's months away from them. No worries, let's send Drednok to the Protostar's vehicle replicator. Is that like space mail? I guess so, huh? The ship is about to enter a Tachyon Storm. Jankum realizes the risk and heads to the Proto-Drive to stabilize it. It emits an energy pulse throughout the ship, splitting Janeway into fifths momentarily. Janeway checks in on Jankum, discovering he's the only life form aboard. Warp core breach, red alarm. Unless they can stabilize it and equalize the gravity shell, the Proto-Drive will explode like a supernova. Boom! Janeway finds herself on the bridge, ship intact, only one life form. It's not Jankum, it's Rok-Tahk. Janeway deduces that the ripple was some kind of time distortion, and everyone is in their own temporal phase. For Rok, time is moving ever so slowly.
Are you done? Because I don't know if you're still being slow or not.
No, we're done.
Okay, just wanted to be sure. That question is a really cool riddle. Does anybody know the solution to it? You probably have.
You eat the chicken.
There's no fire there, so unless you're going to do it tartar.
Well,
you could make a fire with the grain.
I like how Jankum was eating the grain.
You take the chicken across first because the fox won't eat the grain.
Ah.
I thought you take multiple trips.
You do take multiple trips.
So you take the chicken first, you leave it there, you go back, you take the fox to the other side, and then you bring the chicken back to the grain, and then you take the grain and put it over with the fox, because the fox can't eat the grain, and then you go back and get the chicken.
You get 3 boxes, and you call FedEx.
Oh, that's true.
You could, yes.
You could put air holes. It's okay. You can do the air hole thing. That's perfectly normal.
You could also put your badge on the chicken and just transport it over to the other side.
You can shot put the chicken across the road.
I was not told
Which doesn't get you across the river, but anyway.
No, I was not told that was a reasonable option.
So why did the chicken cross the river?
Because Jacob brought him over.
You send Murf down the river in a boat.
Yeah, but this episode was really, well, we're going to get into it deeper, but that was a cool little question they had to work their brains to try to figure it out.
Well, and the whole point of it.
And the key to the whole thing is working together, which is kind of interesting because they're still not figuring it out.
No.
Well, Janeway's trying to school them. She's trying to school the cadets using classic logic riddles.
Yeah, but they're still kids, so things don't quite click as you think that they would with an adult crew.
Yeah, and then Dahl shows his teenagerness by, this is too hard, we're fucking quit, we're not even real Starfleet, let's bounce, And then you see how upset everybody got because they want to
just let the cat out of the bag. That's how you solve the problem, is you let the cat out of the bag. We didn't even know there was a bag.
No.
But he said, we're not even Starfleet. We stole the ship. And they're like, oh, you did what?
Yeah, he totally spilled the beans.
I mean, was the cat in the bag alive or was the cat in the bag dead? That's the question.
No, you got to get this cat Schrodinger and never find out.
That's true. If you never open the bag, the cat's both alive and dead at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
But it was really, he just lost it. It's like if I tell somebody a deep, dark secret, and then, if I tell Patrick some deep, dark secret, and then we're out, and I say, Patrick clips his toenails and he chews them. And he goes, oh, yeah? Well, Nathan likes to screw sofa cushions. It's like, where the fuck did that come from? So, yeah, he got mad and just told on everyone.
Yeah. And then everyone was so upset and left. And the diviner's like, let me see if I can explain. Let me try to do this in a better way.
That was pretty wild,
Yeah.
I didn't know you could send, Drednok across for 40 light years.
Now, this is why you want to put the firewall up on the default starship, okay?
I guess.
Because you don't want someone to be sending you through the vehicle replicator, an evil robot to come kick your ass.
Well, that's what happens when you turn on 5G. You get Drednok in your living rooms.
Is that why I've been having these weird dreams? Because I got that booster shot?
Yes.
AI and 3D printed technology do not go well together.
It was a pretty fascinating hack, that's for sure. I'm like, why didn't they do this earlier? But they didn't realize they were that far away. I mean, this is if you got to reach out and touch somebody and they're too far away to get it'll take you months to get there, just send a robot through email.
Mm-hmm.
Which reminds me, Chief, I want you to put security protocols on all of our 3D prints and replicator. If someone does something that's not standard, you should get a report.
Yeah.
Don't use the replicator on deck 3.
So no more making those walking, talking vibrators.
Don't plug that one in.
Oh, my. Oh, wow.
That's fascinating.
Wait, you mean that little thing that runs up and down the corridor screaming, "It's time, it's time"? I thought that was like an alarm clock. That's a walking, talking vibrator.
Oh, man.
I need to follow, see whose room that goes into.
Patrick's.
No.
Yeah.
No doubt. Because it's a computer program. Heather just makes weird shit to eat.
Well, how do you know it's not edible?
Okay, then.
Yeah.
Well, you could put your mouth around it and find out.
Yeah.
You can suck on it, that's for sure.
By the way, again, no kids. I know we already said it once, but
This is not time. We're not talking about something the kids want to suck on, that's for sure.
Oh, God,
Oh,
no.
man.
Boobalicious.
No. Oh, my God.
Should we talk about Star Trek again?
Let's get into a Tachyon Storm.
So that was a beautiful looking storm.
It was gorgeous. But, who had the big brain to know that what would happen with the warp containment field?
Jankum. I thought that was cool. Jacob's like,
that
what?
was.
I mean, it took him a second. Like, wait, gravity? What do you mean? You mean gravity? Oh, shit.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Gravity's the only thing keeping the protostar stable.
I mean, that's kind of important on the starships because it's literally a starship.
I was so impressed with him.
There's a big warning sign right next to the engine that says, "Stay away from Tachyon storms."
Must keep gravity intact. Hello?
And he went to go use his universal tool to fix everything, which is the wrench.
I mean, who knew Tellarites were so, smart?
Well, he was. He knew exactly. Even you figured Janeway would kind of knew that, but as soon as he said it, she's like, "Oh yeah, that's right."
They don't name the thing the Protostar for nothing. That's for sure.
Well, didn't they delete part of the Protostar's schematics and like what it does on Janeway's memory? Wasn't that like all messed up and everything?
I mean, that must be what it is, because obviously you wouldn't want to put this thing anywhere near a Tachyon Storm.
Yeah.
I mean, that would just be tacky.
The thing started to spark like Discovery's bridge. It just started to spark and flames coming all over the place.
All the sparklers and the flame pods shooting off for no reason.
Rock is like, is this supposed to do that?
This turned into a rock concert. That's not right.
No, and then you figured, at least he didn't sit back and go, "Oh, this is pretty." He knew that this was serious shit. He had to try to
Kiss
fix.
was about to come on stage and like, maybe we got a problem with the gravity because it's turning into a rock concert.
And then it pops like a zit. And you have all of these waves that went out everywhere.
Was that Purple Haze?
That would have been cool if it played that.
No, that's what happens when you eat the mushrooms that Heather puts in the...
So we need to do a recut of some of those scenes.
That's what it looked like. Thank you, number one. Those colors I was seeing earlier, it looked like when that ship exploded. So that was pretty cool. But then everybody finds themselves on the ship alone. And there's no way you figure like, what the hell happened?
What the hell happened?
Janeway needed some of my time crystal coffee.
Well, the cool thing is Janeway could adapt. She was very adaptable to the time variations.
Yeah, her and Zero did really good with that.
She synced right in. Well, Zero was just using time like normal, but Zero figured out what was going on.
And plus Zero's non-corporeal, so I wouldn't think it would affect her as much.
But she figured it out rather quickly, which again shows how smart she is.
Is Zero a he or a she?
I think it's
neither.
She or they.
It's a they?
It's a they, yeah. They are it.
They.
So
got it.
And then Janeway is like, wait, I know the ship exploded, but how the hell am I still here? and she finds Rok-Tahk. And
Rok-Tahk's having a bad trip.
Yeah.
Everything's moving all slow. Poor girl's hiding underneath the blanket. I was like, oh.
She got a hold of some of Heather's coffee.
Yeah. And
everything's moving weird was the quote. Just like, that's not cool.
Like, I have Heather in my coffee, but I'm so brave. You probably think this emergency is about you.
Well,
do not butcher that song.
That's what Rok-Tahk did the first, few days that Rok-Tahk was on board, was eat all of those bowls of sludge and drink coffee and drink all sorts of stuff.
That was showing how fast or slow time was moving for her.
Yeah.
It was moving so slowly. She had a stack of bowls ready to clean. And then meanwhile, the dishes are just kind of floating around. Yeah. It's really wild.
And
it's like eat, sleep.
I really like the fact how they really show how you would think a 5 or 7 year old would act. Yeah. Because how old is Rok-Tahk supposed to be again? 8 years old. And Janeway's like, you got to do it. It's like, no, I can't do it. This is hard. Shut it down.
And then she's like, here, you got to do this. Otherwise the ship's going to do this. And it explodes. She's like,
it's too much. And
her warps her little mind right there. It's like, she can't deal with all this.
And just like a kid that slams their room door so the parents can't yell at them, she's like, shut the program down.
Yeah, she's like, just turn off Janeway. That'll solve the problem. And Janeway's like,
because everybody knows if the boogeyman's in the room, your magic blanket, if you cover your eyes, they can't get you if you can't see them.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, if you close your eyes, they go away.
Yeah, everyone knows that.
So that was pretty wild. Okay, Patrick, you're up.
Act 2, Schematics and Airlocks. It's true. Size matters. Janeway is now in the cargo bay with Zero, who is aware of the temporal phases and has figured out a way to repair the core by constructing a warp matrix. Zero explains that the ripple was like a dampened sine wave. Those closest to it, time is faster. Those farthest away from the ripple, slow. Zero doesn't have enough time to build the matrix, but constructs schematics for Janeway to pass on to the others just as the ship goes boom. Janeway finds herself with Murf, saying it's up to you to save us all. Oh no. Boom! Janeway's now in the captain quarters where Dahl is playing a game. Dahl isn't interested until Janeway tells him everyone's gone. Dahl tries to use the vehicle replicator to make the matrix, but something is causing it to error out. Dahl doesn't think he can do it, but Janeway gives him the Apollo pep talk. Use whatever's on board to fix the problem. Dahl builds the matrix, but doesn't have the right size dilithium coupler. Boom! Gwyn is looking for the coupler as the vehicle replicator brings Drednok to life. Janeway confronts Drednok. You corrupted my files and erased my memories. Gwyn attacks. Dred erases Janeway using Chakotay's command codes. Dred knows where to find the coupler and goes to put it in the warp matrix. Gwyn opens the airlock and blows his metal butt out into space, along with the matrix. She records a message. There you go.
And that's it.
It was really Dahl showing how fucked up he is. Just couldn't care. But the good part
he's
about
like doing, how impressed I was with him in the holodeck with his tenacity, trying to beat the game, basically trying to win. Yeah. And he's playing his little video game there on his pad, and you can't beat it because it's getting faster and faster. You can't realize what's going on. It's like connect 1 and 2 together. The time for him is quickly going away.
The only thing that was a saving grace for him was the fact that once he realized that the crew was gone, that got him concerned, that he actually does care about everybody, or else he would have still had apathy just laying there trying to beat this game with his brain.
Well, Janeway offed his game.
Yeah, true. She pulled the plug on his video game.
And his adaptability of being able to basically jury rig this high-tech science option. Yeah. Which I thought was cool. But the part that made me laugh, and thank God I wasn't drinking Heather's coffee, is when she's like, okay, this is up to you. Let's go save. And then Smurf like,
that was so funny.
It's up to you to save us all. And then it cut to Murf.
Oh, and Janeway's like, oh no, not you.
So fucking funny.
That was hysterical.
That was a perfect placement for that too, because it's right in the middle of we don't know what's going on. They've unwrapped this amazing mystery we've got to solve, and it's up to you to save us all. And it's fucking Murf. Oh my god, that was so good.
He's throwing up computer parts and ship parts and everything. He's like, huh?
It's like, what, me?
That was so funny. It's like when you catch. It's like when you catch your cat in the cat box and they're getting ready to take a dump and you stare at them, all of a sudden they freeze and just look at you.
It's like, what?
It's like, that's what Murf looked like.
Oh, man.
So that was really, really funny.
I loved this section where the explanations come from Zero.
Yeah.
Because they drop the sine wave on the screen and they show how it's oscillating, and you can see it speeding up because it's getting smaller and smaller, and explaining on one side of it's quicker and the other side it's slower, and how everyone's displaced through the sine wave. I really just dug that nerdiness of it all. It was incredibly cool. I mean, Janeway had a really cool visual explanation of it for Rok-Tahk in the previous segment, because they had a little circular dial thing, kind of looked like a record player. Now, if you look at a record player, and if you ever watch the thing move, the sound plays at the same speed the entire time, but as the needle gets closer to the end, it's the smaller amount of space. It's going through that space quicker because it's circling inward, which is fascinating to watch the grooves go. But then you point it out the other way around and stretch it out longitudinally along with the sine wave was really cool. I was nerding out.
I really love it when my chief engineer starts to get a chubby when they go really good science. Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, you were all flummoxed there.
Yeah. Did you guys hear the Destruct Code?
Yeah, it was Chakotay's.
I didn't write it down, but Chakotay had some codes.
It's not just Chakotay.
I couldn't believe he had Chakotay's password.
Yeah,
no, but there was more. There was, when you go to destruct a ship, it has to be more than, or it has to be the senior officer's name. The officer, one of the names that was in their Destruct Code was Sulu.
Sure, it wasn't Zulu?
No, it was Sulu.
So Chakotay and Sulu?
Yeah, that means Sulu's offspring was on that ship somewhere, because I do know Sulu had a daughter.
And Sulu sitting in a tree.
So,
oh my.
So Sulu had a daughter. So I do believe, I wonder if they're going to actually revisit that, because then we might actually get Sulu on there.
Yeah, because she was on what was Wrath-Tahk? She was on the ship on Wrath-Tahk, right?
I believe so.
I can't remember. Ensign. Oh God, what was her name?
But that'd be something for you to look up to fill us in on the next show there, number one, because I swore that the Destruct Code had Sulu's name was Chakotay Sulu something. And that was really fucked up. He deleted Janeway.
Yeah.
That was messed up. But
that was.
Yeah, it's kind of, the first thing you do is turn off the hologram. That's really fucked up for the hologram.
Yeah. And then it comes to the point where she comes back.
All hologram lives matter.
Yeah.
Right.
And look who brought her back.
Well, that's the next section.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Yeah, next section. But I love how Zero was on top of everything. He totally knows what's going on. He knows how to fix it. It's just a shame that he was in the part of the wave that time went so fast he exploded like almost immediately. But it was really sad at the part where he did die. He's like, if only I could tell them how much I like them.
Yeah, that was a beautiful moment. Of course, it was the classic, my damn fingers weren't quick enough.
Yeah. That was so funny. If only I could control my hands.
Yeah, it's the non-corporeal can't control fingers very well. It's amazingly bad problem, especially in that situation. And the expression of love at the last moment was just kind of, oh.
Yeah.
I wonder if they would ever let Zero use the holodeck and the holodeck to fabricate him kind of like a body for him to realize what it would be if he had a body.
That's an interesting idea.
That would be pretty cool.
Because they've done that before.
It's a curious question because, yeah, we've seen something like that happen in Discovery.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I'm thinking, the whole point is being able to control physical matter. And that's the interface with the holodeck. You're physically interacting with a light object, basically. And how does that work with a non-corporeal? How do you get that interface to work? But then they made it work in Discovery with the non-corporeal gray.
Right.
Yeah. So it'd be really curious if they ever did that. But it was definitely very heartwarming and touching to see him do that.
And then they get a gift from Gwyn's father. And the first thing Janeway says is, can we return it?
I love that. Can we just ship it?
that was so fucking funny. I'm like, can we just return it?
And it was so deadpan too. It was like,
it was so well done. I mean,
it was so funny.
The diabolicalness of remote printing a evil robot onto somebody's starship is just viciously evil. And the first thing Janeway says is, can we return it?
That was really funny that she did. And she also realized, it goes, I remember you. You were on here before.
Yeah.
So that was pretty wild.
And they dropped some big things in there too, with Drednok talking to Gwyn. Gwen's worried that she's going to get killed by Drednok, and Drednok's like, "I'm not here to kill you. I want to, but I can't do that. In fact, I think you are your father's greatest mistake," was just a fucking evil thing to say.
That was horrible.
That was some evil robot shit right there.
It is like having somebody give birth to twins and one of them dies in utero, and then later on you say, "I wish it was you that died and not your brother or your sister."
Ouch.
That's just
Well, Drednok's just he's just jealous.
Yeah, well,
I guess maybe. Yeah. She airlocks his ass though, and she's like, "Who's your master now?"
Who's your daddy?
Who's your daddy?
Who's your daddy and what does he do? Okay, I guess.
And then she gets the ultimate finish is she records the captain's log and she gets to email it to the next section. So that was cool.
Okay, Pat, your turn.
Okay, Act 3. After 276 attempts, Rok has found her calling and so much math. Rok is eating, depressed because she's alone. She goes back to the simulation. She gets a message from Gwyn telling her that she needs to build the Matrix and says she was sorry for telling her what to do and making her security officer without asking her what she wanted. I can't. Janeway suddenly reappears after Rok rebuilt her program, and she also built the warp matrix. Yeah, that's it. Okay. But she didn't know where it's supposed to go. Rok joins the coupler to the Proto-Drive, and time is restored to normal. Everyone remembers being dead. Gwyn gives Rok a hug. You did it. Taught myself quantum science, computer engineering, and so much math. Brains and brawn. The Eye of Dread awakens.
This episode actually towards the end, and I will admit this freely because I am amongst friends and family.
You are?
And that includes our listeners here, is when everyone went to go give her a hug. And it's like, that's what she wanted was a hug. But she was gone for so long that she crash coursed. And that's a hell of a thing for an 8-year-old to study and read and...
Well, she was 8 years old, but she went through elementary school, middle school, high school, and a little bit of college. It's like she was in there for way too long. It was so sad.
It was, but she occupied herself. 207 attempts to bring Janeway back. 76 attempts.
276.
They're 276. That's a lot. And trial and error. She didn't give up. The patience of a rock. Yeah,
you know what? That's it. There you go. That's it. She got immense amount of patience.
Yeah.
Although at the beginning of it, though, she's like, I can't. That was very painful to hear her say, I can't do this.
Yeah, but she was able to build it and knew where the coupler was and everything else. That was really touching.
But she was alone for so long and she had to rely on herself, and she's only 8 years old. That's freaking trauma right there. I wonder if we're going to see some PTSD in later episodes
we don't know how long she was alone, though. We don't know.
That's what I was getting ready to bring up. We don't know the amount of time since she was the furthest away. How much time did pass?
How many lifetimes passed through that? It's like, literally she went to see the Groundhog Day movie from the other point of view.
Yeah. And Janeway said, the time you're in, this could take forever. And if Rok went through elementary school, middle school, high school, and some college, it was years. It had to have been.
But yet she still looked the same. So I guess that's her final form, that she never changes bodies when she gets into adulthood.
Well, it could have been the time thing, too.
Oh, yeah. Good point.
Because they were in the time wave. So maybe they just kept her young.
Yeah. The day is kind of like having a day stretch forever.
Yeah.
So you physically you don't get any older. It's just, but the day just won't end. So that's a really good point. Yeah, great for my science officer dropping knowledge. So that was really cool.
I liked she had all the bunks she was hanging out in, and everybody's bunk had its own little distinct messiness to it.
Yeah, that was nice. And she did that, I guess, so she wouldn't feel as alone.
And she had a Murf to cuddle, even though it wasn't really Murf.
I know. That was so touching.
It was really cute.
That was very touching.
It was.
For being a kid's show, they touched on some pretty heavy aspects in this episode. Not only what we're talking about with Rok, but the fact that they all remembered that they died. Like, they all died and they all remember that they died, and that affected them.
I wonder how much of a trip this is for kids, because as a Trekkie watching this had it hit all the notes. It really did. Every Star Trek note we didn't have any starship battles, but what we had was an amazing puzzle to solve, and the timey-wiminess of it in a Star Trek fashion was just so well done. And the comedy was in there too. But as an adult watching this is a great episode. But is it as mind-blowing and crazy to a child growing up and watching this? I wonder about that.
Yeah.
And wasn't when, I don't know about you guys, but when I was in like junior high, if someone pulled your underwear up your butt, they called it a Murf.
Are you serious?
No, they call that a wedgie.
Well, no, but
They call it a wedgie.
They called it a Murf too.
No, in New York they called it a wedgie.
Maybe it's just a
I
California
don't think
thing.
I've heard it that way. It might
I'm
be
in California. They didn't call it. Maybe it's a Southern California thing.
Las Vegas, and it was a wedgie.
It's
And Nathan was New York.
If they pull them so hard you turn blue, that's a Smurf, right?
That's a Smurf.
Well, that depends on how big they are.
That's what happens when the wedgie goes in between your balls.
You get a couple Smurfs.
You get a couple Smurfs.
Oh, that sounds beyond painful.
Yes, it does.
Oh my God. So
the fact that she had the whole warp matrix built, ready to go, and she's like, I got it. I don't know what to do with it now because nobody told me where to put it. She has to reconstruct Janeway. And she does 276 tries to do that. I just love that logical step happened in that order.
Yeah. Rok was like, no one told me where to put it.
It's like, okay.
yeah, that was good. And she figured out that it was the memory buffer that she could pull them out of.
And of course, she drops the little nugget at the end that, who found the dilithium coupler? Actually, Drednok did. And I'm like, Drednok?
Yeah, which, by the way, they brought him back. Like, when everyone came back out of the time thing, they brought him back and put him on the ship.
Yeah, last shot at the end, the red eye.
That was crazy.
It was creepy.
And I only thought that was a late night flight.
Ugh.
Ba-dum-bum.
I looked it up though. A Murphy, they call it a Murphy or a Murf for short, but a Murf is the same thing as a wedgie.
Okay.
Oh, you grew up in a special neighborhood.
I did. It's called Hollywood.
Tough figures.
Murphy was the name of the cop from RoboCop.
I was just getting ready to say that. That was Murf. I'll buy that for $1.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But it was
with Prodigy, usually every single episode has a lesson learned because that's what Prodigy's been doing. And I think the lesson learned for this episode was it's so important to work together as a team.
I agree.
I also like the lesson of just because you think you can't do it doesn't mean you can't.
That's true.
That's
I like
another
that
really
lesson
good
too.
point,
That was striking to me because I grew up watching the movie Kelly's Heroes.
Oh, I remember that.
And that was a phenomenal movie. If you've never
Clint
seen
Eastwood.
Kelly's Heroes, it's one of the Clint Eastwood's best movies.
Yeah.
And I mean, in a good way. I mean, it was a good fucking movie. It had a lot of, little sad parts here and there, but it was a great movie. And the best part of it was being positive about something. They had this one character that was always like, oh, cut it out with those negative waves, man. You just got to be positive. That really stuck with me. And the second you run into a wall and you can't figure it out, it's defeating yourself to say, I can't do this. You need to take a break and regroup.
There you go.
It's you've got to be positive about stuff. Even though you're staring negativity right in the face, you just got to look at it and go, well, I can solve this. I just got to figure it out.
I was lucky to have a sergeant that was senior over me. He was a
I bet he was.
staff sergeant. Shush.
Dude.
And one of the things he taught me as I was learning my way, being an NCO, is that whenever you say it's a mental thing, like you were saying, Rocky, as soon as you say you can't, you just defeated yourself. He says the first thing you do before you tackle something is just believe you can do it. Before you limit your mental mind, then you say you can't. So if you look at something and as soon as you see it goes, I can't pick that up. Well, now you're not going to be able to because you just convinced yourself that you can't pick it up.
Well, you don't even try. It's like I've decided that I'm not even going to try.
Exactly. So anytime there was something coming up, we'd say, well, okay, we'll do it. We'll do it to the best of our ability. You never say can't. And then once you tackle it and you find out that you can't, then comes the problem solving. Then you get to figure it, well, now how can I? But you have to do the attempt first. And that was a really good point there, Chief. Yeah. It was a good episode. I did enjoy this episode. They had some humor in it. And we still don't unlock the mystery of Murf and what he's capable of other than swallowing photon grenades.
He can't build a warp matrix, but he can certainly eat a warp Photon grenade.
No,
I thought he ate the piece that they were looking for. Like, Murf, no, that's the only piece on the ship and we need it.
That would have been funny.
That would have been just their luck. It's like, oh, we found the lithium coupler. Oh, fuck,
And then he
Murf ate
swallows it. And then he swallows it.
So, but that would have been really funny. But it was a good episode. So on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you give it, Heather?
I give this episode a 9. I really love this. I love what they're doing. I thought the story was fantastic. The way that they concluded it, it was not a child. I mean, a child could have watched this, but I didn't feel like it was a child's episode. I felt like it was a very good Star Trek episode.
It was. I truly enjoyed this as well. Number 1, what would you give it?
I'm going to give it about an 8. I think it was really good. It had a lot of trekkiness to it, but it didn't talk down to you. Like, I mean, even though it's a kid's show, it was an adult conversation.
I have to agree. It had some highbrow concepts that they put it where the goats could get it. So they really laid it out. So I thought that was really cool. And I kind of already know what you're going to say, Chief, because you had a blue veiner through the whole thing. So what would you give it?
I could come right out and say 10, but I need to give it a little bit room because it was still only a short show and we only got so much plot moved along. So I'm a 9.5, but that's a really strong 9.5. I really enjoyed the hell out of this episode.
It's a really hard 9.5.
Yeah, it was hard and throbbing.
With Rocky, it's a soft 9.5. Wait until it gets hard.
If you want to see that, Patreon.
Oh boy, you do some hammering later.
Oh yeah,
with the nails. But yeah, I mean this was a really cool episode, and it reminds me of like I mentioned, Groundhog Day, or Next Generation's version of Groundhog Day was Cause and Effect, wasn't it? The episode Cause and Effect, where they kept repeating the same sequences over and over again, and the ship explodes, and they reboot and restart again, but they started to remember.
That's Run Lola Run.
That was a movie. I remember that
because every single one was different. Like one little thing was different, and then the whole timeline changed, and she kept doing it over and over. But every timeline was different because one little thing changed, like the butterfly effect. Yeah,
it's an amazing do-over, over and over again, and every time you progress it to a more correct direction, hopefully. So yeah, this episode was similar to that. It felt kind of like that, and that was a really cool episode. I remember watching that one growing up, and everyone stuck with me.
It's hard to do a time loop show like that and still keep it interesting. There was a sci-fi one where this guy wakes up in bed with his girlfriend and people come in to kill him, and he tries to fight them off and dies and then wakes up in bed again with the knowledge of what happened.
So that almost sounded like that scene from Star Trek Picard.
Yeah. So, and it kept going over and over again. He kept doing little things and trying to figure out what's going on. It's all had to do with an invention that he made. It was a pretty good little indie film. But for me, I would have to kind of split the difference between you and Heather. I would give this like a 9.3. A 9.3. It was really good. I love the emotional aspect it brought to it. I love how true to the characters they were, as well as their age. They played it well. And it's like, it didn't turn into a Wesley moment where Rok-Tahk just knew everything right off the bat. It showed that Rok-Tahk had to work for it in order to get this knowledge.
In a long time, too.
Yeah. And for people to give Rok-Tahk that respect because she's big and Storm, and stony and everything. Instantly security officer because you're big and strong. And no, not everybody is like that. Yeah. Thank you. Perfectly put. Yeah. It was a miscast. She's actually going to wind up being the science officer. She knows everything. So I could see her working with Zero. But I enjoyed it very, very much.
The group hug at the end. That was nice. So beautiful. And then Murf drops in from the top. It was so cool.
It was. I just hope that they realize that the replicator is still going, that someone had the big brain and check it so they can kill that
thing. Turn on the firewall, damn it.
Yeah. Thank you. Password protect that sucker.
Yeah. You got to change the codes, the authentication codes,
that would be good.
At least turn on the VPN so they can't find your location.
Well, that's what happened. True. They turned on the VPN and they tunneled in from remote. They sent Drednok over the VPN.
And that's how he got on the ship in the first place. So there's that. So you figured they would have learned, or Janeway would have learned.
Well, Janeway's memory screwed up. That's why. There's things about this starship that have been hotwired.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Because she said, you're the one that messed up my memory.
Yeah.
Yeah. She thought Drednok was, and Drednok's like, you're close, but you're not right.
Close, but no cigar.
That's not correct. Close, but no cigar.
And then Gwyn has a lot of access to this starship, and surprisingly the amount, just because of who she is and because of what her father did with the ship. So there's a lot of things that they're missing, and stuff like that. Just send over a Drednok. It was just like, wow, that's a pretty big open hole right there.
I'm going to leave that one alone.
I really love the parfait. They set that up because, they said onions have layers, but onions can make you cry, like they said in Shrek, but parfaits get layers, but they all taste good. So this show is really setting up different layers as we're digging deeper to find out backstories and everything else. And I'm just waiting when they do a backstory on Murf and what he is and what he's capable of. He's the X factor.
Yeah.
We really don't know everything about him.
He's the wild card.
He is.
He's the Simon Cowell.
Not quite, because he hasn't called anyone an idiot, or they have no hope of going on. So, but it was a good show. Do you know what next week's going to be there, Pat? Do you have a title yet?
Nope, it is not listed.
It's unlisted.
Yet, but I will be on.
That's
an
what
away
they should have done with the
week.
replicator. Say again.
I will be on an away mission next week to planet Earth, to a place called Portland, Oregon, and we'll have a special guest, my friend Michael.
Oh, cool.
Oh, so that's right. I saw the log file you put in for us to expect company.
Well, it's a big log, so how you couldn't miss it.
Yeah, well, that's a matter of perspective. Once I turned off the magnifier, it was small. But it's definitely going to do we need to get the guest quarters cleared up?
No, he's not going to be coming on board.
Okay, because the last time one of your guests, it took the dots almost a whole day to clean up the shaving cream and whipped cream and oils and everything else that was in that room.
Is he Zoom hologramming in?
Well, we're just gonna come in like we normally do.
Oh, you're gonna come in like a wrecking ball.
Like a wrecking balls? What?
Yo, I bet you're gonna have some balls wrecked.
What are you guys doing?
Hey, he's getting his balls wrecked.
Wow.
Oh, that's so funny.
That's too much information.
Yeah. Thanks everybody for joining us for this week's episode. We really appreciate your patronage and also the fact that you donate to the Patreon and everything else. If you want to find out where to find us, we assume that you found us already, else you wouldn't be listening. But you want to know all the other platforms we're on, stay tuned, because the Chief does an amazing job detailing where you can find us and everything else. Just make sure that wherever you are, that you be careful out there, because it's not a fun time right now. So just be careful, mask up, do your shots if you haven't done your shots. And if you refuse to get the shot for whatever reason, make sure you mask up to protect other people, because you might be a silent carrier. So just do that. Thanks.
Shot.
And
everybody.
And Heather, even though you gave me time crystal coffee and it put me into a little loop, I appreciate that you sent the antidote. So.
Oh, that wasn't me, but okay, cool.
Reminder, I saw on the schedule you're making us dinner tonight. I'm changing that.
That's probably a good idea.
Yeah. So thanks everybody for listening to us. Make sure that you have not just have a great week out there, but make it so. Hey Doc, give me some more of that time crystal coffee. What, the Tribbles got into it? Oh fuck. We're gonna have to clean up Tribble shit. Wait, the light's still on? Disconnect us, please.
And if you can, support the show by going to patreon.com/Starfleet Underground. Lots of perks to choose from, and you might even like some of them. Starfleet Underground, beaming into a podcast feed near you. Log on to our website at starfleetunderground.com and send your comments and questions to thecollective@starfleetunderground.com. Follow us on Twitter @StarfleetUnderG and on Facebook and Instagram, we're Starfleet Underground.